Hello, good evening. My name's Richard. This is over and over and over again, and this is going to be the live FA Cup fifth round draw for the Arsenal women. Of course, we beat Watford yesterday. We are going to find out who we get in the next round. It's all coming up the other side of this. So, good evening. How are you doing? I say my name's Richard. It's over and over and over again. It is the Women's FA Cup fifth round draw. Of course, Arsenal women have won the FA Cup more times than anybody else. So it's a big competition for us. But we've not won it since 2016. Long time, isn't it? Well overdue we are, aren't we, for a win in this competition. Of course, the final at Wembley, as we know, last time we were there was in 2020. Carried over, of course, to 2021. We lost 3-0 to Chelsea. That was a game that we were at, actually, which was a nice occasion to be at. It was the 50th anniversary of the first final, but yeah, not a great evening. We got some comments in already. Greg's with us. Hey there, my friend. He says, a good evening, looking forward to a good draw, hopefully at home. Yeah, home draws are ideal. It's what we want. Brennan says, come on, you Gunners, indeed. Terry's here, as always. Good evening, my friend. He says, evening, Richard, Greg, all in the chat. I'm wanting Chelsea. Don't care if it's home or away. Bring it on. Well, we got Chelsea last year away, didn't we, at this stage? And, of course, we know what happened there. So we don't really want Chelsea again, do we? Greg says, great call. Well, I mean, we shouldn't fear anybody. Oh, there you go. Terry says the same thing. These girls shouldn't fear. No, we shouldn't fear anyone. I'm not saying we do fear anyone. But, obviously, we'd rather get the bigger teams later on in a competition, wouldn't we? I suppose. But yeah, I suppose overall not that too bothered. Daisy says, evening all, good, and yourself, hope you well. Just hoping no Arsenal or Chelsea for London City. Other than that, it's game on. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Of course, London City, of course, are through as well. Aloha says, hope for Man U away, so I don't have to travel too far. Yeah, well, that'd be handy for you, wouldn't it? We've got Lee in the chat there, my friend. He says, evening, Rich, everyone in the chat. Let's hope we get a decent draw. Yeah, I mean, what would be a decent draw, though? I suppose we've all got a different idea of what we think would be a decent draw, I guess. Here, home, I think, would be ideal. If it's a big team at home, I wonder if they'd play at the Emirates. Obviously, without the Champions League, which we'd kind of anticipated we were going to be in, I suppose, there's an opportunity to maybe play an FA Cup game at the Emirates, isn't there? So if we were to get Chelsea at home, say, or Man United or Man City or even Tottenham or somebody, Tottenham did go through, didn't they? Then, it could well be that, we play at the Emirates. So that'd be good, wouldn't it? To get another game at the Emirates on as well, because I say we lost out on a few because of the Champions League disappointment. So it's going to be interesting to see who we get. Personally, for me, I think I would rather not get one of the kind of big three teams, if I'm honest. So not Man City, Man United or Chelsea at this stage. Yes, we'll probably have to beat at least one of them. If we're going to win the cup, we're going to have to beat one of them, aren't we, at some point in the competition, whether it's in this next round, whether it's in the semi-final, the final, wherever it'll be. We're going to have to probably beat at least one of those three teams, aren't we? Either Chelsea, Man City or Manchester United, unless by some freak of luck, two of them get each other and then one of the other ones gets knocked out by the winner of that, maybe. We could avoid it that way. But, we shouldn't, as Terry rightly said, we shouldn't fear anybody, really. With the squad that we've got, with the way that things are at this moment in time for the club, I don't think we should fear anyone. I think we should go out there, whoever we get, and expect to win, especially if we're at home. So let's not worry who we get. Let's just go out and try and get through and go as far as we can in the competition. And I'm sure we will. You can see from the picture behind me, this group of players have got the feel, haven't they, for winning a trophy. They know what it feels like. And they're going to want to do it again, aren't they? And, of course, we are still in at the Continental Cup. Of course, next Wednesday we play Reading. Should we win that game, as I'm sure we should do, then we would go through to the quarterfinals and we're back on track to maybe win that competition. But, yeah, it was a good performance yesterday, wasn't it? I thought in the end. I mean, yes, some of the three goals at the end came last 15 minutes after the substitutions, didn't they? But before that, we'd had lots of chances, you know, and I know fair play to Watford. I thought they played well. Our three loanees did well, didn't they? Particularly Michelle Aubameyang with that goal that, yes, we gifted her a little bit, but, you know, she's got to finish it, and she did. So overall, it was a good day, wasn't it, for Arsenal women yesterday? And let's hope that we can go a long way in this competition, because I say it's been far too long, hasn't it? It'll be 8 years this year since we last won this competition, of course, when we beat Chelsea back in 2016, which does seem a long time ago. I think Danielle Carter scored the winning goal on that particular occasion, I remember. And we've not won it since, of course. We did lose to Chelsea in 2018. Viv scored our goal, but we lost 3-1. And of course, as I say, in 2020, well, it was carried over to 2021. We lost 3-0, didn't we? Really disappointing performance that was. We had a few injuries at the time. No Leah Williamson. And of course, should we get to the final this year, there's every chance that Leah Williamson will be fit this time to play, because she's due to be back in the squad in the next few weeks. So it's good news there, isn't it? Terry said, it's got to be Chelsea for me. Let's inflict sort his first nail in her coffin. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it, if, you know, if we were to knock Chelsea out, especially as in the last few years, they've been the team that's knocked us out of the cup, haven't they? They beat us in the final. They beat us in the semi-final the year after. Last year, they beat us in the 5th round. We don't have a great FA Cup record, do we? I say they beat us in the 2018 final as well. We got David, who I'll say there, Dave, good to see you, my friend. He says, is the draw on TV? Well, it's sort of on TV. It's going to be on, I think it's on the iPlayer. I'm not sure if it's on after the One show at 7:30. It's on Radio 5, I think, as well. I'm going to hope it's on the iPlayer on after the One show that we're going to see. Terry says, I must admit, I liked what I saw from Fox. Great debut, in my opinion. Yeah, no, Fox. Emily Fox, of course, made her debut yesterday, played right back. She did look very, very good. Linked really well with Beth Mead, I thought. You know, she did some great overlaps, put some great balls into the box, and looked a really good player for her first game. Since she only joined the club. Well, it was announced this week, but apparently she joined the week before. So she's not had long, but she does look a very, very good player. Greg says Fox looks like what we've needed. Yeah, I think we've always felt, haven't we, that a right back, the right back position was maybe something that we were lacking a little bit, and we needed something there. So it's good that we've managed to sort that issue out, and let's hope that we can go on and she can prove to be the player that we've needed in that position. You know, with Laura Wainwrighter out, of course, potentially most of the season, if not all season, because her injury was so late last season, wasn't it? So let's see. D says there, Fox's debut was brilliant. Yeah, it actually was really, really good. Really, really good. And let's hope that that proves to be a really important signing for us. And I don't know if we're going to buy any more players now. That's the thing, isn't it? I'm not sure if we will. I think that maybe we've probably done all we're going to do. You know, we're not massively short now, are we, in any other position? I don't think. So let's see what happens in this FA Cup. But yeah, it's important, I think, that we try and go through. Paul says up the Palace, bring on Charlton. No, you're a Palace fan, are you? Of course, Arsenal men play Palace at the weekend, don't we? Which is going to be interesting. I'm just trying to see if there's any way of finding this draw. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, we've got to sign into all stuff. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'll try and do it. I don't know how to sign in. I'm not having a display name, am I? All right, here we go. Right, okay. Let's see if we can watch it on my phone, actually. So we're going to see if we can get this draw on my phone. I'm going to see if I get it on the phone. Greg says draw on 5 Live at iPlayer. Yeah, I've got it on my phone now on iPlayer, so they're not actually started it yet. They're doing some chat about something or other. It's not on the telly because EastEnders has just started, and we don't really want to watch that, do we? Let's be honest. Lee Will says you do realise that both sides are playing on Saturday. Yes, I mean they sort of overlap, don't they? Because the men kick off at 12:30, so that game's not going to finish till maybe 3:25, is it? and of course the women start at 2:00 against Everton. So yes, it's not ideal, is it? It's the first time this season, funnily enough, because it used to happen quite a lot. I've had some really busy days on the channel trying to cover both games at the same time, or overlapping each other or whatever it is. So it's the first time it's happened. I don't think it happened at all last season, and this is the first time this season. So we can't grumble too much. It's not ideal. No, of course not. I would rather they looked at the fixtures and thought, you know what, we don't really want the men and the women's team from the same club to be playing at the same time. It makes no sense, does it? Because there are a lot of us out there who like to watch both teams, you know, who are fans of the Arsenal men and the Arsenal women. So it does seem crazy to me to, not separate the games. You know, why couldn't the Arsenal women have played on Sunday this week? I don't know. Probably TV would probably be my answer. But I don't actually think the game's on. I think it is on the telly, isn't it? But anyway, regardless of that, they should have looked at it and thought, you know what? Let's put the game on Sunday. Or I'd move the Arsenal men's game, because that is on TV, isn't it? At 12:30 on Saturday. Move that one to the Sunday. Why don't they think of things like that? You know, they want to. They talk a lot, don't they, in the media and on TV, all these TV channels, about how much they support women's football and how much they want to support women's football, and then they do some ridiculous thing like, put the men's and the women's games on at the same time. It's madness, really, isn't it? And I don't know. I'm not. I think that they need to have a look at it and say, no, we're not going to do that, and have a word with the TV companies and just move the games. Just move one of them. You've only got to move one. Even if they put the Arsenal women's game on Saturday, make it on. Make it later. You know what I mean? Make it later. When's the draw starting? That is a very good question. Anytime now. They did say about 7:30. There's a show going on at the minute, so no doubt they're running a little bit late. It's part of this show on I don't know, 5 Live, I think it is. It'll be starting very soon. Don't worry, it hasn't started yet. You haven't missed anything. We're waiting patiently for it to start. Davis, it's not on the iPlayer. Well, if you go onto the BBC Sport app, I did it on my phone. There's a way you can click into it and you can watch it there. There's a show on at the moment on Radio 5 Live. I suppose you can listen to it on the radio if you wanted to on 5 Live. It's not on yet, by the way. Mark Chapman's doing some show with Shay Given and Chris Sutton and someone else. I'm not sure who that is. So they've got like a show going on there, but it's going to be starting any time now. So we're just patiently waiting. Again, you see, women's football isn't as important to them as they pretend it is. If it was at 7:30 on the dot, they'd get rid of this they're talking about and get that done at the time they said, because then they'd be taking it seriously. But they don't. They don't really care about women's football. The BBC don't care. Sky don't care. They just look at it and think, well, it might be a way of making us money. And that's the only reason why they're involved and the only reason why they pretend to care about it. And this is another example, isn't it? You know, the stupid kickoff times, the fact they overlap the men's and the women's teams playing on the same day. And then they do stuff like this. They advertise a draw and they're not even interested in putting it on at the time they say. So, come on, guys, how serious are you about women's football? Because I don't think you're very serious about it at all, if I'm honest. You look at the BBC website, you look at their app. It's very difficult to get information about the women's games on there. Very difficult. On a match day, they don't have the team lineups on there very often, or they do it just before kickoff. It's very, very poor. The coverage of women's football in the media on these big channels that say they're promoting women's football. They're not interested. They are not interested at all. Jeremy says, why not on Talk Sport anymore? I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't listened to or watched Talk Sport for a very long time, to be honest with you. But whatever it is, they need it to be somewhere that actually cares about it. What they should do is they should have let us stream it live here. That's what they should have done. Let us do it here. Bring the balls to us with the little pots. We could have picked it out. We'd have done it here for you. We'd have done it at 7:30 like everyone wanted it. That's what they should do. They should give it to people that actually want to be serious about women's football. Clara says, when's the draw started? Well, we don't know. It said around 7:30. It said around 7:30. That's how much they care about women's football. They can't even give it an exact time. Just whenever we can be bothered to fit it in, we'll put it on. It's basically what they're saying. And this is the BBC. This is the BBC, by the way, who pretend to care about lots of things, but they actually don't. So I'm sorry. I don't know when the draw's starting. Any time, I would say, in the next 5 minutes. Let's hope so. But But we shall see. Oh, they've got the FA Cup in the studio. They've got the Women's FA Cup. Oh, they're about to do it now, guys. We are about to do it now. So we are about to get going with this FA Cup 5th round draw. It's exciting, isn't it? London City are number 4 in the pot for any other. We had a London City fan in before. You're number 4. Crystal Palace are number 7. Tottenham are 5, by the way. Arsenal are number 9. It should be number 1, shouldn't we? As soon as we start with an A. But anyway, we're number 9. And we'll be looking out for number 9, of course. Charlton are number 12. I know Charlton was mentioned before. Manchester City are 14. Manchester United are 15. Everton are 16. And so Leicester are 1. Southampton 2. 6 are Chelsea, by the way. Jeremy says, put the flags out. Yeah, put the flags out because it's about to start. Darren says it'd be great to get Charlton to play another loner. Yeah, we'll see. We could do, couldn't we? That'd be strange, wouldn't it? It's even harder to watch. I would try and pronounce your name, but I don't want to get it wrong. I do apologise. I know it's probably easy to say. It's easier to say than it looks, I'm sure. It's even harder to watch the WSL 94. Terry says, don't buy a TV license. Shut the EB down. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what we all do. Greg says, just starting now. Well, they're just doing it now. Here we go. The balls are there in the pot. The balls are in the pot. We've got the first number out is number 4. London City Lionesses. There we go. We have the London City Lionesses fan in. You're first out of the draw. You'll be at home to number 13. Wow, this is exciting, isn't it? Who is number 13? Liverpool. Wow. London City Lionesses at home to Liverpool. What a great draw that is. What a great draw that is. It's the first one out. Great tie, that one. Number 9 is Arsenal. We're at home. We've got a home draw, guys. We have got a home draw. Who will it be? Chelsea, you watch.
14. And Arsenal will take on Manchester City.
Manchester City at home. Manchester City at home. Arsenal versus Man City. Wow, what a game that is. What a game that is.
Leicester City, 8th in the women's.
So Leicester City are at home as well. Darren says, oh my God, yeah, what a draw.
Leicester City will be taking on Birmingham City.
Leicester versus Birmingham. So a Midlands derby there. That's quite an interesting game, isn't it? Of course, Leicester in the WSL these days.
Now they're the lowest ranked team left in.
Well, Wolves are at home. They're the 3rd tier, aren't they?
Wolves will be taking on Brighton and Hove Albion.
So Wolves are at home to Brighton. That's a good tie as well, isn't it? Wow, fantastic stuff this. What a great draw this has been so far.
Number 5, Tottenham.
Oh, Tottenham. I bet Tottenham get Chelsea. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Jeremy says Blue Moon. It is indeed a blue moon.
Number 12, Charlton.
Oh, Charlton. There we go. So that was Charlton.
Nottingham Forest in round 5 for the first time.
Nottingham Forest. They're a 3rd tier team as well, aren't they?
16. Nottingham Forest. We'll take. We just spent the last half hour talking about the 2 men's clubs. Nottingham Forest will take on Everton.
So Nottingham Forest be Everton. the two clubs that's going to get kicked out of the football are going to be playing each other in the next round.
Number 2, that's Southampton. 5th in the.
So Southampton next at home. Bet it's Chelsea. It's bound to be Chelsea. They always get an easy draw, don't they?
Number 15. Southampton will take on Manchester United.
Oh, Southampton, Man United. Well, they've had 2 interesting draws, haven't they? Man United, Newcastle, and Southampton.
Number 6, Chelsea.
So Chelsea are at home. What a surprise! They're at home.
Number 7, Chelsea. That is Crystal Palace.
Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Oh dear, what an easy game they've got. I think that's it, isn't it? That's the draw. That is the draw completed. Isabel says, where can you watch it? It was on the BBC iPlayer. Wow, so Arsenal Man City. What a big game that is. Incredible, isn't it, when you think about it? Arsenal versus Manchester City. We've had some big battles against them, haven't we, over the years? We're at home, so that's good. And I suppose there's a possibility, maybe, if they've got the chance to do it. Obviously, the game is in February, so maybe they won't have time, but it could be a game for the Emirates, couldn't it? What a great game that would be. Because I think Meadow Park is a little bit too small, isn't it, for a game of that size? Arsenal, Man City in the 5th round, the FA Cup. That'll be good, won't it? We've got a comment here from Pat who says their Arsenal women's team is so good. then if we promote them to the men's division, they can still win the league. Well, no, they can't, can they? Because men and women are physically different, aren't they? And they're not really able to compete against each other in a team sport such as football. It just wouldn't work with it, so it'd be pointless. Let Arsenal women compete in the women's league and win that, because that's what they're there to do, aren't they? But this is about the FA Cup anyway, so let's see if Arsenal can go a long way in this competition. Not the easiest draw, let's be honest. Not the easiest draw at all, is it? Man City are one of the top teams in the league. In fact, they're second. They're level on points with us in the league, aren't they? We did, of course, beat them at Meadow Park in the league, didn't we? A couple of months back. Very good game, wasn't it? Stina Blackstenius got the winning goal. We did beat Manchester City as well in the semi-final with a Continental Cup last season at Meadow Park as well, didn't we? Stina Blackstenius with the winning goal then as well. So we've got a good recent record at home. Of course, last season in the league, we beat them 2-1 as well, didn't we? Katie McCabe with an absolute banger to win that game. So we've got a decent record at Meadow. Let's play at Meadow Park. I've just convinced myself now. Don't play at the Emirates. Play at Meadow Park, because every time we play Man City at Meadow Park, we seem to beat them. I remember we beat them 5-0 the season before, didn't we? Leah Williamson scored in that game. So, yeah, let's play them. Let's play them at Meadow Park, shall we? Man City, that's going to be good, isn't it? Who did London City Lionesses got Liverpool at home? They got Liverpool at home. So it's Lionesses, London City, Liverpool, Leicester City versus Birmingham, Tottenham versus Charlton, Southampton versus Manchester United, Arsenal versus Manchester City, Wolves versus Brighton, Nottingham Forest versus Everton, and Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. So pretty evenly spread out the games. We've got a tough one, obviously. We have got a tough one. So yeah, London City Lionesses got Liverpool at home, which is a good draw for them, isn't it? Puppy says, no way of signifying their ability. We're not really going to promote. Well, no, of course not. No, I mean it'll be pointless, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, because no matter how good, you could put the best women's players in the world together in a team, and they would lose to probably a League Two men's team, wouldn't they? Even probably lower league than that. It doesn't make men's football better. It just means men are physically faster and physically stronger than women are, and that's just the way it is, isn't it? So it wouldn't really prove anything, would it, to do that? But anyway, so yeah, Arsenal versus Manchester City then. Well, that game will be middle of February time, won't it? That game will be scheduled for. No doubt it's going to be one of the TV games, so we won't have to mess around like yesterday. I know a few people struggled to get on to the iPlayer, didn't you? The FA player yesterday to watch the game. So hopefully we won't have the same problems in the next round, because I'm sure the Man City game will be selected for a TV selection, probably on BBC, I would imagine, but we'll see. So yeah, well, what a great draw in a way. It's a great draw, isn't it? We were talking about we didn't really want one of the big teams this early on, but we are at home, and why can't we beat them? So we've got a great record at Meadow Park against Man City, so why not? Let's enjoy it. Darren says there, fancy Southampton doing Man U. Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? I was kind of hoping yesterday that Newcastle were going to beat them. Obviously, Newcastle investing a lot in their women's team since the takeover. They've got ambitions to be in the WSL in the next couple of years. And, they had big support there, didn't they? And unfortunately, Man United were much too strong for them. But Man U are away this time. Much more difficult away from home, isn't it? We'll see. Greg says, hopefully Williamson will be back by then and will be even stronger. Yeah, I'm not sure if she's going to be ready to start. I mean, you're looking at maybe 3 weeks that game from now. She's not even been on the bench yet. She's not ready to play. She may be fit enough to make the bench for that Man City game. I'm not sure if I think it's too early for her to be starting. I think, the next round after that, if we get through, then you're looking at that'll be the quarterfinals, and then you're kind of thinking, yeah, she may well be able to play in that game. But yeah, I think the next one's going to be too soon. I do think it's going to be too soon, unfortunately, but we'll see. Jeremy says there no replays, extra time, but yeah, just right, it is, yeah. So in a way, that's good, isn't it? Because we're at home, so we've got home advantage. So we get home advantage in the 90 minutes, we get home advantage in extra time, and we would get home advantage if it went to penalties as well. So it's good to be at home, isn't it? So we've got to be pleased about that. Yes, I personally would probably rather have got a team not quite as good as Man City, but as we've said, we don't need to fear anyone. We've got one of the best teams, one of the best squads in the country. So let's go out there and enjoy a big occasion. I say, let's play at Meadow Park as well. If you're watching, don't put this one at the Emirates. Don't bother with the Emirates with this one. Man City at Meadow Park, we've got a great record there. So hopefully we will go through, and that would be good, won't it? Papu says the Women's Super League side was heavily criticised last month after their squad photograph for the 23-24 season contained no players from diverse backgrounds. Well, I mean, that's true. They were criticised for that, but why would they be criticised for that? Because we are, and it's a sports team, and the idea of a sports team is a professional sports team is you get the best players that you can get. You don't look at them and say, well, sorry, you're a fantastic player, but we can't put you in the team, we can't put you in our squad because we've got to tick some boxes. No, this isn't politics, this isn't anything else. It's professional sport. You pick the best players, and if the squad of players that Arsenal have put together are the best players that we can get, then that's all that matters. I've never, and I don't know why people do really. I don't look at the Arsenal squad and look at the colour of their skin. I just look at them and think they're great players. Or they're not great players, whatever it might be. That's how I base it. I'm the same with the men's team. I don't look at the players by the colour of their skin. They're not black players or white players. They're just players. And they're good players or they're not so good players. And that's the way it should be for everybody. But unfortunately, too many people want to look at other things to create issues that don't really exist. And, you know, I think that's we should try and keep politics aside from sport. You know, sport's entertainment. We should be able to enjoy it and not worry about what colour skin the players are or what they had for their dinner or, you know, what clothes they wear outside of football and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't matter. They're there to do a job, which is to play football for this great football club and hopefully win as many games as they can to bring some glory and some success and some happiness to everybody that loves the team. And that's all that matters, isn't it? And that's all I want to see. I don't care about anything else. Terry says, come on, chat, 30 of you forgot to press the phone. Oh, yeah, let's get some lights in as well. It's a good draw, wasn't it? Let's be honest. It was a good draw. It's the way it goes. Lee says, I thought it was going to be Chelsea versus Man U at one point. The way the draw was going, yeah, they didn't come out, did they? I kind of felt it might have been, but Chelsea never get. Well, I say last year they got us but they were at home. You know, they usually get an easier draw, don't they? But we'll see. Darren says Arsenal versus City will be top TV pick. I reckon a 5:45 kickoff on Saturday the 10th. Is that the sort of peak time for the FA Cup game? Because it wasn't this weekend, was it? I don't know. I reckon it'd be on a Sunday. I think it might be on the Sunday. But anyway, let's see who the men are playing that weekend actually first. Terry says 29 is crap no matter what skin color he is. Well, actually, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you know, I know you don't particularly like Mr. Havertz, but you're right. I've never been interested really in anything other than whether or not I think they're a good player or they're not a good player for the team, and that's it. And if they're a good player, I want them to play, and I'll support them anyway. But you know, if they're a good player, you're really excited to see them play. And if they're not so good, you're thinking, well, you know, they're probably going to leave, and that's the way it is, isn't it? Darren says men away on the 11th at West. That's right, yeah. Yep. So there you go. So yeah, maybe that game. See, what they need to do now is that game's already. You're right. That game's already a TV game, isn't it? The West Ham game. So they know now when the men are playing. So when they're going to arrange the TV to show the Arsenal women against Man City that weekend, make sure it doesn't clash. And if play it on a Saturday, that'd be perfect, wouldn't it? Saturday evening would be great. Yeah, let's do that. Darren's just picked it. TV companies, whoever you are, whether it's BBC, whether it's Sky, whoever it is, we want that game on a Saturday at 5:45. That's a good time to kick off as well. Let's do it. Let's get that game on then. Don't make it clash with the men's team. Don't be silly. Come on. That would be great, wouldn't it? So yeah, let's see what happens with that. But that's interesting, isn't it? That's the way that's worked out. So let's see. But yeah, we will wait on that. But yeah, let's face it, it's a great game, isn't it? It is a great game. Jeremy says Sunday 12:30 BBC One or Red Button. Do we really want it on 12:30? What time's the? What time? Hang on, let me just check what time the West Ham game kicks off. Is it the 4:30 game on the Sunday? Let's have a look. No, it's 2 o'clock. So the men's game kicks off at 2 o'clock on the Sunday. So we don't really want the women to kick off at 12:30, do we? Because that's going to clash again, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know. I have a late Sunday then because they do. I know in the WSL they have a game at 7:15, don't they? We don't really want that one, but maybe the Saturday's going to work out better for that one then on the 10th. We'll have to see. I'm sure they'll come up with it soon enough. So let's have a look and see. Patrick says there, whenever our matches are telecast on BBC, we lose. So BBC One, please do not show our game. Well, I think we've won on BBC One before, though. But yeah, I don't know the exact figures on that. But yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. But anyway, let's just win the game regardless. Darren says 12:30 is such a poor kickoff time. No time to meet up pre-match week. Yeah, I don't like the 12:30 game. I mean, obviously the reason why they kick off at 12:30 is because it is 3 p.m. ban, isn't it? So that the game's finished before 3 o'clock. That's the only reason why the 12:30 kickoff. I personally think they should bin that off. I don't really like a Friday night game, but I'd rather a game on a Friday night than on a Saturday at 12:30. Given a choice, and I think most fans would probably agree with that. I suppose it's for the TV audience at home, isn't it? Maybe they think Saturday lunchtime there's more people around, so maybe people go down a pub and watch a game or stay at home and watch a game. I don't know, but yeah, I don't like the 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday at all. I think they should throw them away. And I say if they've got to do it on a Friday night instead, I would rather they didn't. But that's what they've done, haven't they? They've had a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday and an 8 p.m. kickoff as well, haven't they? So I don't know why they can't maybe do that more. Get rid of the 12:30 and stick it 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. Again, it's not ideal, but with a finish time at 10 o'clock, people getting home from the games, but they don't care any other time, do they? So I don't suppose it makes much difference, really. At least it's a Saturday evening as opposed to a Sunday evening or something like that when it's more difficult to get home. But I don't know. I think they need to rethink a lot of the kickoff times for the TV games, to be honest with you. You've got the WSL games kick off at 6:45 on a Sunday night. They've got to understand that women's football is attended by families and kids and stuff like that. And you don't want to be taking your young children out at 6:45 on a Sunday night, especially when they've got school in the morning. If you've got travelling to do and all that kind of stuff, it's not ideal, is it, when the game's finishing, not far off 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. So yeah, they need to seriously look at that. We've mentioned this on the channel lots of times that I say they say they care about women's football, but they don't do anything to suggest they do care about anything other than money. And unfortunately, that seems to be the way it is. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens first. I mean, obviously we've got a 12:30 kickoff for the men on Saturday, haven't we? Which is I agree with you. I hate that kickoff time. Really do hate it. So yeah, luckily we haven't had too many this season, have we? The 12:30s. I think this might only be the second. Is it the second one we've had? I think maybe. We've not had too many, have we? We used to get a few last season. I think it was. I don't know why we seem to get a lot more last season, didn't we? But this season we don't seem to have had too many at all, actually, which is good. But we'll see. Ryan's with us on the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Hey, my friend, he says back-to-back tough home draws for the 5th round, 2 in a row. Yeah, well, no, last year we was away, wasn't we? We was away at Chelsea last year, but yeah, tough draw, absolutely, really tough. But they want to. It's no fun, is it, if you get easy draws and you beat championship teams and third tier teams? Where's the fun in that? Do you know what I mean? Man United have had Newcastle and then they've got Southampton. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, they'll probably win that game and go through. But where's the fun in that? Let's beat the top teams and then we get them out of the way, don't we? But yeah, you're right. It's 2 years in a row we've had a tough draw, but at least this time we are at home. And I do think that if it's at Meadow Park in particular, we've got a great record against Man City recently at Meadow Park. So I'm not worried about the game. I think we can win, obviously, but yeah, it could have been a better draw. Let's be honest, it could have been a better draw, but it is what it is. You can't do anything about the FA Cup draw. We're in it, which is the most important thing, first of all, and we're at home, so it could be a lot worse, couldn't it? And we look forward to it. It's a massive game. It's going to be a great occasion, and these are the sort of games that you want to see, don't you? And it's the sort of game that really is good for promoting women's football, promoting the competition, and all that kind of stuff. Darren says, feel for Chloe Kelly. She's going to be having McCabe nightmares tonight. Yeah, well, she will be. Yeah, those two, of course, have got some history, haven't they? As we know, called Chloe Kelly, a former Arsenal player. But yeah, it's going to be a very good game, isn't it? Two of the best teams in the country going head to head in the FA Cup. So yeah, it's what the FA Cup's about, isn't it? Games like this as well. Yes, you like to see the smaller teams playing the big teams, of course you do, and there's a couple of those games in there as well, isn't there? Which is nice. Say Southampton, Man United is a great game, isn't it, as well? London City Lionesses against Liverpool, they're at home as well, so that's another great tie. So yeah, there's some good games in there, and you get a top team, the two top teams playing each other as well. So It's just unfortunate it's us that has to get that one, but there you go. Greg says, stop Sky showing the games, they might get better kickoff times. Yeah, well, you say that though, but I mean, when Amazon Prime had the games over Christmas, they were kicking off at stupid times, weren't they? 8:15 and stuff like that of an evening. So, you know, I'm not sure that it's just Sky. I think that the problem is you've got the 3 p.m. Blanket ban. So you either have to, the live TV games either have to be before, so they finish before 3 o'clock, which is where you get the 12:30 one from, or they have to be after the 3 o'clock kickoffs are finished. So that's where you get the 5:30 ones from. And again, you've got travelling times for fans. And that's the reason why on a Saturday, those two slots are the two that they generally use. And that's not really Sky's fault necessarily. Whoever's showing the games has got to work around the 3 p.m. ban, haven't they? Everyone has to do it. So I don't necessarily just blame Sky. I do blame Sky for lots of things. The 8 o'clock kickoffs on a Monday that they brought in at the beginning of the Premier League and all that kind of stuff, and putting games on every night of the week. I don't like any of that. Loads of things Sky are to blame for, but that particular thing, I don't think that's a Sky issue, is it? It's a 3 p.m. kickoff ban issue, and that's what needs to be looked at. Maybe change that, and then you could have live games. Then what they could do is they could have every single game live, and you can pick which ones you want to watch. Each club should do it, shouldn't they? Each individual club should be able to stream their own games, every single one of their own games. Kick off at 3 o'clock. I love it when all the games are kicking off on at the same time. And you're sort of hunting around for the scores, aren't you? Thinking, oh my God, what's the score there? How are they getting on? How are these getting on? And that's what football used to be about, didn't it? You know, in them old days, we didn't have internet, all that kind of stuff. People had radios, didn't they? Listening to the radio, what's the score? And then someone said, oh, like Liverpool have scored or whatever it is. And, you know, you'd be happy or sad and that. And it's never going to get back to that now with the internet and stuff. But they couldn't make all the games at 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. And then each club could show their own games. You could subscribe to your own club. Instead of paying Sky ridiculous amounts of money, you can actually pay that money to your own club and help your own club, and they stream their own games. That's the way forward, surely. That's got to be the way forward. And then Arsenal could stream the men's games and the women's games. You could have the men's games on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. You could have the women's games on a Sunday at 2 o'clock, for example. So it's a nice time for families to go and all that sort of stuff. And that's how they should do it. And that should be the future for everybody. And I think that's the best way. And if you need midweek games, just play midweek games like you used to on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, that's it. No other nights, no Monday nights, Thursday nights, Friday nights. Put the European games Tuesdays and Wednesdays like they always used to be. And again, each club streams their own games. So it doesn't matter, does it? You know, because let's face it, people only really want to, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I look at it, I'm only interested in watching Arsenal's games, the men's games and the women's games. I don't want to watch Southampton play Bournemouth. I'm not interested, really. I'll watch Match of the Day to catch the highlights. Yes, I'm not interested in watching a game live. The two fans of those clubs want to watch that game, so let them watch it. You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. I'm not. One of the reasons why I don't subscribe to Sky is because I'm not paying for Sky to tell me what games I can watch. I want to watch the Arsenal game, and that's it. And if they're not going to show every single Arsenal game, I'm not paying them any money. Simple as that. So yeah, that's what we need to do. Everybody needs to cancel their Sky subscriptions, absolutely. And then Sky will bugger off out of football, and that will make it much better. But going back to the Saturday issue, 3 o'clock, it's got to be 3 o'clock kickoff. We've got to do it 3 o'clock kickoff. That's it, you know, and let each club do their own games. And I think that's the way forward. Terry says, let's hope in the next round, if we're away, give the Arsenal fans at least 50,000 tickets. Let's spread the money around it will generate. Well, let's see who we get. If we get through first and then see who we get. I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, when Arsenal play away now, the Arsenal women, the fans that we take, I thought it was quite funny, actually, because yesterday, obviously Newcastle were away at Man United, and they were saying, you know, how many fans they took. And yesterday they took a few fans. I think there must have been 1,100 Newcastle fans went, which is great. But Arsenal take them sort of numbers every game. Do you know what I mean? You know, Newcastle thought they'd done really well, and they did. But you know, when you look at it overall, that's what Arsenal do all the time. You know, we take fans everywhere. And we always do because we're the team, aren't we? Greg says, wherever our girls play now, the grounds are too small. It won't be long before only in big stage. Yeah, and I think that's definitely going to be where we are with it. Absolutely, that's what's going to happen. I think it needs to be done at the right time because you know, for example, if we're playing, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a team that Brighton, say, for example, Brighton's women's team don't have a big following of fans, do they? You know, at this moment in time, they may well do in the future, but at the moment they don't, do they? So if they were to play in a men's stadium, when Arsenal play, they're not going to give Arsenal 25,000 tickets, are they? They're going to give Arsenal, like we had at Spurs a few weeks ago, they're going to give us the away section in the stadium, which is behind that goal, isn't it, at the Amex Stadium. So we'll get 3,000 tickets, and we'll probably sell them all because that's what we'll do. But the rest of the ground's not going to sell, is it? Because Brighton don't have a big following, so that you're going to have 3,000 Arsenal fans in one section of the ground, and the rest of the ground, or the one stand that they open along the side, you're going to get maybe another 1,500, 2,000 fans in, aren't you? Probably. Arsenal fans will probably buy tickets in there as well. But I don't know. I think we're not quite at that stage yet, are we? Yeah, the big games, Arsenal, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. Yeah, of course. Arsenal, Tottenham. Play them in the big stadium. We've seen how those games sell out. But when it comes to the other smaller clubs still that don't really have that support, I don't think it would work yet. I think it's something for the future. And I think in the next 5 years, I think we will see that. And it's like, I think, was it Viv said, didn't she, that it shouldn't be called the men's stadium, it should be called the club stadium. And I think that's where we'll get to. I think within 5 years, there will be the stadium that is the club stadium will host the men's and the women's games for all the WSL teams. I think that's what'll happen. I mean, some already do, don't they? I think Bristol City are playing all their games at Ashton Gate, aren't they? Leicester play at the King Power, all their games. I mean, Man City's women have got that purpose-built stadium next to the Etihad, and I think that's a good system. That works. Obviously, we can't really do it now because it's too late. We should have done it at the time, but that works for Man City, doesn't it? Man United play at, obviously, the Lee Sports Village, which, you know, they've played some games at Old Trafford, but yeah, I think that's the future. I do, and I do think it will happen. I'm just not sure it's going to happen. I'm not sure it's going to happen right now at this time. I think it's going to take a little bit longer to get, you know, to get some of the smaller clubs, if you like, to get their support up enough to be able to do that. Otherwise, they're going to be playing in like empty stadiums, and that's not going to be good for the game. It's great when the stadium's full and there's a great atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. It adds to the quality of the entertainment, doesn't it, as well? Playing in the big empty stadium isn't going to work. And yeah, obviously when Arsenal are in town, it's not going to be as empty, is it? Because we'll fill our section. But yeah, I think overall it's something for the future. And it's exciting, isn't it? The future's exciting for women's football. Terry said, whether Arsenal plays a home game fans, well, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, I mean, everywhere we go, yeah, we always have more fans than the home fans usually. Most games that we do, you know, when we're away, and it's great, isn't it? You know, we are still, what anybody says, yes, we haven't won as many trophies in the last few years as Chelsea have, but there's no doubt that we are the biggest club in women's football by an absolute mile. And the history that we've got, the support that we've got, the structure that we've got at the club for the women's team, everything. So yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? And I think we're coming into now another period of success, aren't we? I think, you know, we've seen what's happening at the club under Jonas winning the Continental Cup last season. I think that's the start of some big things. And, you know, I'm sure this season we're going to win something again, whether it's the Continental Cup, whether it's the FA Cup, whether it's a WSL, whether it's all three. We will definitely be winning some more trophies this season and in the future. You can see that clearly with the squad that we've got. It's geared towards it, isn't it? So yeah, it's exciting times ahead, isn't it? Exciting times ahead. So yeah, brilliant stuff. And what an exciting draw. Yeah, not ideal, but it's exciting, isn't it? Arsenal versus Manchester City. That game is going to be played the weekend of the 10th and 11th of February. No doubt that'll be on the telly. So please join us for that. We'll be here obviously covering that game as well. So great stuff. So that was the FA Cup, Women's FA Cup, sponsored by Adobe this year. That's the Women's FA Cup draw for the 5th round. All done. Manchester City at home. We'll take it. We will take that, and we'll give it a good shot, and I'm sure we can get through. Just before I finish, actually, what I want to say was yesterday during the coverage of the Watford game, the channel hit 500,000 views since it started, which is incredible. You know, when I started this channel 3 years ago, I never thought that it would get anywhere near that kind of response, really. So to have got 500,000 views on the channel is incredible. So I just really want to thank each and every one of you that supported the channel, whether you was with us from the start like Terry was, and a few others. Shane was there at the beginning, and you know, some others as well. But or if you've just joined us recently, because I've noticed certainly since the start of this season in sort of September, August, September time, from then forward, it's grown massively. And you know, whether you're new here or whether you've been with us for a few years, I want to thank everyone for the support that you've given the channel, for coming back and watching us again and again. You know, liking what we do, and joining in the comments, everything else. You know, it's brilliant. So yeah, the channel wouldn't be what it is without you guys out there contributing, joining in, liking, subscribing, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to say thanks really to everyone for that. And yeah, brilliant milestone really to reach half a million views is incredible. So let's move on now and try and get to 1 million, shall we? Let's see if we can get to 1 million this year. What do you reckon? We can get another 500,000 in the rest of this year, 2024. Wow, imagine if we did. I can't see it, but anyway, we'll see. Darren says Conti Cup quarter final on the 7th, 8th of February. Yeah, it's going to be a busy few days. Yeah, it is, yeah. That happened last year, though, didn't it? Didn't we play the semi-final in the Conti Cup? And then on the weekend we had was that the FA Cup against Chelsea, was it? I can't remember, or was it the other way around? But yeah, it's a busy time of the year, isn't it? Of course, last year we had the Champions League as well, didn't we? So it was all go. But yeah, it is going to be a busy week. But we've got the squad. We can rotate our squad. Let's face it, we can rotate. We saw yesterday, didn't we? The subs that came on. Stina scored with her first touch. Frida Minor came off the bench and scored. You know, Stina got an assist as well. You know, Kyra Cooney-Cross was a substitute yesterday, came on. We've got some great players, haven't we? We can rotate the squad for those 2 games and still be really, really strong and competitive in both of them. So, yeah, it's exciting times, isn't it? February is going to be a big month, isn't it? So it's going to be great. And let's hope that Arsenal can get through both of those. Well, we haven't got to the quarterfinal of the Continental Cup yet. We do have to beat Reading next week. Of course, we should beat Reading away, but who knows? So yeah, let's get that done first, get through, and then yeah, it's going to be a very busy start to February, isn't it? And it's going to be exciting, isn't it? It's what we want to see, don't we? We want to be a part of these big games. We want to watch Arsenal playing these big games, you know, big cup games, and looking to make progress in all these competitions, don't we? So yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's exciting. It's what we want. It's what we want to see. Obviously, we want to win them as well this time. Last year, we kind of came up short, didn't we, in the Champions League and the FA Cup. So hopefully this year might be different. We've certainly got the squad. I mean, wow. The depth is incredible, isn't it? Terry says, congrats, Richard, more than deserved. Yeah, thank you very much, my friend. So you've been a massive part of the channel. Greg says, great channel. Well done. And yourself, I thank you very much for your support, everybody. You know, it's great that you guys have bought into it and enjoy what we do. That's the main thing, isn't it? So coming up then on the channel, we have got obviously the Arsenal Women's Show on Friday, 7:30. We will be looking back on the Watford game. We're going to talk about this FA Cup draw as well. Get the guys' views on that. So that's going to be good. That's 7:30 on Friday. Join me for that. Saturday is going to be a busy one, isn't it? Due to the fact that TV have decided to absolutely make life difficult for me. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to probably do a watch along of the men's game. I'm going to focus on the women's game at 2:00. And then on Saturday evening, I will try and get maybe our good friend Neil to come on again and maybe look back on the Crystal Palace game and do a review of it on Saturday evening, just because it's going to be difficult to do both games, isn't it? The women's game is going to start halfway through the men's game, and it's not ideal. I've done it before. It's not really much fun, if I'm honest, and it's difficult, and it means I can't really enjoy both games. I'm not going to be able to enjoy both games so much anyway, but what I'll probably do is watch the first half of the men's game, come live for the women's game, and then keep updated with the second half of the men's game and catch up a bit after, and maybe do a show in the evening. So we'll see. I don't know whether to do a double watch along. It's just hard, and I end up not really enjoying the game as much as I would do. So, but we'll see. But we'll definitely be a Friday for the women's show. Will definitely be a Saturday for the women's game against Everton as well, which kicks off at 2:00. So join us for those 2 shows. As I say, we'll put something together for the Arsenal Palace game as well. I'm sure we won't let it go and ignore it. We'll do a show on it one way or the other. So stay tuned for that as well. Terry says it's great to see as well how popular you are around the world. Yeah, I mean, people from all over the world do join us on the channel here, which is great, of course. brilliant. And, you know, we welcome everybody, wherever you are. Some people get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to join us for the watch-alongs and stuff in Australia, places, you know, Africa. Lots of people join us from all the different countries in Africa. We've had Nigerian people in. We've had so many. Uganda's quite popular, of course. That's where Amar's parents are from, Uganda. So, you know, it's good that we get some people from Uganda watching the show. But yeah, all over the world, it's great. And yeah, hopefully we'll continue to grow throughout the rest of 2024. And we're going to be doing some different stuff as well. There's a series I want to do, a personal one for me, Arsenal in the 80s, of my favourite decade. Our good friend Lee, who's been on the channel a few times, me and Lee are going to do some shows looking back at the 80s. So that's going to be good. We want to do a bit more stuff on past times as well, just because they're great shows. You know, Melvin did one for us last season, the Highbury Matters. That was fantastic. I love watching those shows as well. So I want to do some more stuff on that kind of theme as well. Plus, of course, the stuff that we're doing, the watch-alongs, the women's stuff, all that usual stuff as well. But I want to do a little bit more on the historical side of things and just memories, really, going forward. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2024. So please look out for some of that. It won't be coming quite yet. Things are a bit busy for me at the minute. I've just started a new job and stuff, so I'm not always getting the time to put into everything I want to do straight away. So we're going to have to wait and see and get it out there eventually. But yeah, I'll be chatting to the guys. We want to get Neil and Lee more involved now, because they're both great people to have on, great knowledge of the club, great passion for Arsenal, and they're great guys as well, aren't they? So we're going to be getting Lee and Neil together quite a bit more as well, moving forward as we go into 2024. So yeah, this has been the Arsenal Women's FA Cup draw. Elaine says, who's playing? Well, I'm playing at the minute. It was FA Cup draw, which we've just gone through, and Arsenal will be playing Manchester City in the next round, which is on February the 10th or February the 11th. Arsenal Man City in the 5th round of the FA Cup. So there's no game tonight. It was just covering the draw, the FA Cup, and then we've just got off on a bit of a tangent. But thanks for joining us. We will be here on Saturday, for the game Arsenal Women against Everton, which is a 2 o'clock kickoff in the UK. So please come back and join us for that. Or Friday night, 7:30, we've got the Arsenal Women's show, looking back on the Watford game, looking at the FA Cup draw, looking at Everton as well. And Emma will be giving us his latest question, his quiz question as well. So that's all going to be good, isn't it? So that's all coming up Friday. So join us for that. I say thank you guys for your support. Thank you for helping us get to 500,000 views on the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. And please give us a like as well. Terry says, love Neil, one of the great people you'll ever meet in your lifetime. Yeah, Neil's fantastic, isn't he? He is definitely a great guy, real passionate Arsenal fan. You can see how much every defeat affects him. You know, it's great to see. And yeah, he's a great guy. And we are going to get him more and more involved. He's had a few issues himself. He's not going to come on anyway, due to stuff in his own life as well. So we're going to get it all sorted out. We're going to have a lot more stuff with Neil and with Lee as well as the season progresses. And we're going to do some great stuff because that's what we enjoy. Elaine says, I subscribe. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for that. Very, very much appreciated. And we will see you on the next show. So yeah, I'll be back Friday. Arsenal Women's Show, 7:30. Join me for that. The FA Cup draw. Arsenal have got Man City in the 5th round. Well, hopefully Meadow Park is going to be a big game, that isn't it? In February. Get your tickets already because it's going to sell out, that one. There's no doubt about that. You don't want to miss it because it's going to be great. So yeah, Arsenal Man City in the FA Cup. We're going to look forward to that. I'll see you Friday for the Women's Show. Saturday for the Arsenal Women against Everton. That is going to be a big game as well. Thank you for watching tonight. Please like and subscribe. Tell everyone about the channel as well, because we've been covering the women's game since we started three and a half years ago. And we're always going to cover the women's game because we love it, and we're not doing it for any other reason other than the fact that we enjoy it, and you guys enjoy it as well. And that's the main thing. That's what we're here for. So he says, thanks to Elaine, great to have you on board. It is indeed. It's great to get some new people involved in the channel. Good to see us. I was obviously in the chat yesterday as well. So good that you've popped back. So that's it then. The FA Cup draw, Arsenal Man City in February. It's going to be great. Wow. And join us Friday, 7:30. I will see you then. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget, join us Friday, 7:30. I will see you later. Arsenal Man City. Wow. It's a big one. Catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching.